And again, this is meant for doctors and physicians and healthcare providers, which includes all groups of doctors and also the nursing staff and other ancillary staff, supportive staff. Sureshji, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. G. And I'm Suresh. Welcome all the doctors for this wonderful informative session that we'll hear from Dr. Raju on the power of bringing Gita to your professional work. So there's a poem called Heal. The medicinal herb for the body, that sacred mantra Om to protect the mind. The infallible memory, the bedrock of all doctors, all of them rooted in the divine. Heal the body, mind, and soul, staying even-minded, skillful, and compassionate. Aushadam aham, mantroham, samatvam yoga uchyate, yogaha karmasu kaushala.
Thank you. Can you see my screen now, please? Anyone?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Sabhayai Namaha, Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha, Gita Matre Namaha. Saluting Lord Ganesha, the remover of all obstacles, the goddess of knowledge, and all the gurus. We say Gurubhyo Namaha, not just one guru, the guru's guru and guru's guru's guru, and so many gurus who touched our lives. That's why we say in plural, Gurubhyo Namaha. And Sabhayai Namaha to this August Assembly. Thank you for your time today. Saluting the teacher, Shri Krishna, and the very text. So unless we have reverence to the teacher and the text, unless we have the reverence to the teacher and the text, we cannot understand the essence of the text, the essence of the message. So we call this Gift for Doctors, G.I.F.T. Gita instructions and friendly teachings. And Gita instructions and the very fundamental teachings. And as I alluded in the introduction, before the recording began, many of you may know more than me. Please pardon me. If any of you are new to this, and if it is overwhelming, again, pardon me. My understanding of Gita should be, or our understanding about Gita should be, not keeping Gita in our puja room only, living room only, talk about the greatness of Gita only, but applying Gita in today's action, G-I-T-A, Gita in today's action, and Gita in thought and action. And Gita is not only a theory, but very much an action. Little historical aspect of Gita, the grandeur. It is inscribed by Ganesha, described by Vedavyasa, inquired by Dhritarashtra, enjoyed by Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra was a blind king. We begin our journey when we first, I think all of us do remember our very first day of medical school. We were blind to all this. We were just passionate. We began our journey and we were taught by so many Sanjayas. Sanjaya, Samyak Jayati, the one who traversed this course and conquered this. And in the text, it's inquired by Arjuna. Each of us should be like an Arjuna, imparted by Sri Krishna, the teacher, witnessed by Hanuman on the flag, practiced by wise men for generations. Gita, the song celestial, for all of us, it's a life's manual. Some of us may drive, we don't need to look at the manual to drive a car. And similarly, we don't have to read this, but it will be so interesting to see so much of what we do or need to do or should do is taught in this great text. To know the life, to know the self, to see the world, to see the Lord, read or write, sing or chant, listen or learn. Gita, my friend, it shall enrich your mind. It shall unfold the world. The song of Gita is to enjoy. The singer of Gita is an envoy. Hippocratic Oath. Perhaps is the most widely known of Greek medical texts. Over the centuries, it has been rewritten and modified. Contrary to popular belief, the oath is not required by most modern medical schools. It also doesn't explicitly contain the most popular phrase, primum non nocere, first do no harm. If you have to translate this into Sanskritam, it is ahimsa, ahimsa. Himsa is harm. No harm is ahimsa. Ahimsa paramo dharmaha. The ultimate thing in our Sanatana Dharma is ahimsa. Ahimsa is not only the physical ahimsa, but it is mental, it is verbal, and it is our attitude towards others, and interestingly, towards us also. So ahimsa. And in 16th chapter, we see this ahimsa satyam akrodhaha tyagas shantirapaishunam. In our scriptures, the Lord is mentioned as the very first physician, doctor. Prathamo Daivyo Bhishak. It is part of the Rudram Namakam Chamakam. And we have Lord Dhanvantari, the celestial physician, and Aswini Devatas, the twins. And we have this great saying called Vaidyo Narayano Harihi. See, the highest pedestal people have kept us on. Vaidyo Narayano Harihi. And it is a secret science. The secret science, if you see the symbol of it, there is a staff, the rod, which represents the determination, our knowledge, our wisdom. And then the two snakes. It is, the snakes are representative of a secretive knowledge, a secretive knowledge. It also represents the Kundalini in us, the ascending wisdom and the ascending knowledge. And this secretive knowledge is only taught by a real guru to a real shishya when there is faith, when there is a matched wavelength, and when there is a frequency, and then when there is shraddha. So all these should be there to teach or to be taught. And we have 5G. I'm sure more Gs will be added. So for us, in life also, we need these 5Gs. Gita, Govinda, the Krishna, and his teachings. Lord Krishna and his teachings. Guru, whoever your own guru in your lives. And the group discussion, satsanga, that's what we are doing now. And of course, Google, and then more to come in. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the author of Sherlock Holmes, He says, the most dangerous condition for a man or a nation is when his intellectual side is more developed than his spiritual side. Is that not exactly the condition of the world today? And we see here a patient who is in need, who is devastated, and that is Arjuna. And that Arjuna is none other than you and me. Many a time we are in that situation. If you think you are not in this situation, take it from me, we will be. We will be. So a good physician treats the disease. The great physician treats the patient who has the disease, says Sir William Osler. And here is Arjuna, representing all of us, who is physically trembled. Gandevam sramsate hastat. That this bow is falling off, slipping off from my hand. It is like Djokovic saying that this racket is falling off before his 24th title. Emotionally broke down. He's saying, Katham Bhishma Maham Sankhe Dronam Cha Madhusudana. How can I shoot these short arrows towards my own grandsire and my own teacher? Mentally melt down. Bhramati vachame manaha. My mind is reeling and intellectually incapacitated. I'm not able to decide what is right and wrong. The discrimination is lost. Karpanya doshopa hatasvabhavaha pruchami tvam dharma sammodha chetaha. I don't know what my dharma is now. To understand this, we need a little bit of background of this chart. It's called BMI chart, a famous chart by Swami Chinmayananda. So there is this supreme consciousness. You can call it with any of the many names. And we have these deep desires, the causal body, which gives rise to the physical body, and the subtle body, the mind and intellect, and through which we act as perceiver, perceiving the objects of senses. Feeler, feeling the emotions of the mind. Thinker, perceiving, dealing with the thoughts. And there is one more component to it, the ego, and the doer and the doing. So the chariot. Many of us are questioned why this teaching in the war field, and what does it mean, teaching on a chariot? Chariot is nothing but our body. Shariram rathamevatu. And Arjuna, Atmanam rathinam vidhi. And who is the Saradhi, the charioteer? Buddhim tu Saradhim vidhi. Krishna, the charioteer, in the form of our intellect, when it can discriminate between what to do and what not to do. Mana pragrahamevacha, the reins of the mind, which are holding the horses, which are the senses, indriyani hayanyahu. And the roads are the sense objects. So this is from Kathopanishad. Gita is said to be the essence of all Upanishads. Sarvopanishado gavo dogdha gopalanandana partho vatsa sudhir bhokta dugdham gitamritam mahatta. If all Upanishads are like cows, and the calf is Arjuna, and the cowherd is none other than our cowboy, Krishna, cowboy. And the milk is the Gita, the nectarine milk, the nectarine teachings. So that is the significance of this chariot. And it is in the midst of the warfield between two armies. And it's Arjuna who wants to take this chariot. He orders his charioteer, Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Ratham Sthapaya Me Achyuta. And here on one side are the Pandavas, the 5 senses. The senses of perception, and then senses of action. So organs of action and organs of perception. Organs of action are hands, feet, the tongue which talks, the reproductive and excretory. So vak, pada, pani, payu, upastha in Sanskrit. And the organs of perception are the skin, the eyes, the ears, the nose, and the tongue which tastes. So tongue has two actions. Tvak, chakshu, shrotra, jihva, grana. So that's how we say in Sanskrit. So tongue has two actions. So that's why it is said in our scriptures, if we win over the tongue, we have won over the world. Jite, rase, jitam, sarvam. And here are the 5 Pandavas on one side, all our organs of action and perception. And here are the hundreds of Kauravas, hundreds of desires, hundreds of acts, hundreds of the perturbations, tribulations, worries. And we are pulled in many different directions. Here, the acting, treating team, and here, the managing and other influential forces, the healthcare, the insurance, the administration, and the social worries, and so on. So for all of us, it is a day-to-day worry. It's a day-to-day worry. That's why the entire text begins with this great verse, Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samavetaya yutsavaha mamaka pandavas chaiva kimakurvat sanjaya. And out of that verse, which has 4 lines, padas, the very first line is Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. If you rearrange, as Ahalya Bai did, the great queen, kshetre kshetre dharmam kuru. Kshetra means kheti, the field. And kuru means action. Karo, corona. Not corona, COVID. Karo yar. So dharmam kuru. Kshetre kshetre dharmam kuru. What is right? We should do that. And at the end, it ends with a word called mama. Yatra yogeshwara krishno yatra partho dhanurdharaha tatra shrir vijayo bhutihi dhruva nitir matir mama. So in Sanskrit, if you bring these 2 words together, mama and dharma, you can put like in Urdu, so backwards to forwards. So mama dharma. So what is my duty and responsibility in this world, in this body? Kshetra means this body also. Kshetra means the field of action, the field of action. So in whichever body or whichever profession you are in, and whichever field you are in, do what is your duty and responsibility. So this Dharma Kshetra and Kurukshetra. Dharma is a very difficult word to define. Similarly, yoga, similarly, karma. So what is good for the world and what is right for the people in a given time and place is what's called dharma. Swami Ranganathananda used to say. So there is Yuga Dharma, what is right at a particular place and time, and Sanatana Dharma, the core values. So we need both of them. So Kshetra is a field of action, our world of perception. The act of perfection is always in a contextual projection. Dharma upholds the world. Karma propels the people. So Kurukshetra is us and is within us as body, mind, and intellect complex. Body is a chariot. Mind is the reins held by the charioteer. Senses are the horses running after sense objects. In this world of plurality, we witness the diversity with many a personality, demonic, human, and divine. Pandavas are 5, our organs of action and senses of perception, guided by Krishna, the intellect as a charioteer. Kauravas are hundreds of our desires, shades of lust, anger, greed, jealousy, ego, and pride, anchored by the ignorant. Dhritarashtra, the blind king. And there's so many characters, Bhishma, Drona, Krupa, Karna, and so on, Ashwathama, Jayadratha, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Abhimanyu. Talking of Abhimanyu, today it felt like that young kid from Sri Lanka, he fought like Abhimanyu in the cricket match. So each one of them with their own agenda, each one taking a side in the war, each one ready to fight with might and ready to face their own fate. So in the midst of the war field, in the midst of our busy work and busy day and busy schedule, seeing so many gurus, grandsires, friends, relatives, cousins, kith, kin, foes, Arjuna had nervous breakdown. In chariot, helplessly he sat down, looking at Krishna, looking up to Krishna. So we have this professional interaction with many. And this text, the treatise, deals with such a format that many of us have contributed to journals or have read all these great articles, the core articles, many articles every month we see in these journals, medical journals. So we see an abstract, and that abstract is taught in the very, very beginning, in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And there are references given at the end. And what are the references? Krishna himself says in the 13th chapter. These are Vedas, Upanishads, Rishi's vision, and Brahma Sutras, the principles composed by Veda Vyasa. Rishibhir Bahudha Gitam, Chandobhir Vividhai Pratak, Brahma Sutra Padaischaiva, Hetu Madbhir Vinishchitam. Hetu Madbhi, by reasoning, by analysis. So this is daily inner struggle and daily outer interaction. And it has 700 verses, 18 chapters. And I gave the importance of all this in our WhatsApp group. And we all should be Arjuna, especially when we are in this situation. Seek the knowledge like Arjuna. Make the pledge like Partha. Partha means Prutha Putra, Kunti Devi's son. But Prithvi Putra, we are all Parthas. We are all born on this earth, the mother Prithvi. When the body is tired, when the mind is blinded, when the intellect is clouded, when overwhelmed with nervous breakdown in this stressful world, learn to bow down to the Lord, as did Arjuna in the war field. Cogitate, meditate, moderate, modulate, perform the penance to dispel the ignorance, follow the Lord and win over the world. Allow the Lord to act through you indeed, as did Arjuna, and ask the question when caught in doubt. Seek the answer from the master himself. So this mentor-mentee relationship is so important because I'm bringing up a lot of things as a practitioner, as an observer, and as a seeker also. So we may be playing all these roles or one of these roles. So there should be an understanding, trust development, planning the goals, understanding the roles and responsibilities, collaborating for the results. And here is Krishna. He gives 2 verses. They are like whiplash verses. Oh, Arjuna, what happened to you? I mean, it is like coach of Djokovic or Virat Kohli, so when they're shaken, before coming to the ground, Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupasthitam anarya justam asvargyam akirtikaram Arjuna. This doesn't give you any fame, O Arjuna. This doesn't make you, Arjuna, what you are. Laibhyam asmagam appartha naitatvai upapadyate. This doesn't befit you, O Arjuna. This is how Swami Ranganathananda says. This is how we should scold our kids. our youngsters, this doesn't befit you. You are much more than what you are. Then, Kshudram Hrudaya Durbalyam Tyaktva Uttishta Parantapa. Give up this meekness, give up this weakness. Get up and fight. So, this is misunderstood by many that Krishna is encouraging the war and himsa and destruction. But this is the essence of the teaching from our Upanishads as well. Wake up. Uttisthata, Jagrata, Prapyavaran Nibodhata from Kathopanishad. Swami Vivekananda translated freely as arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached in whatever profession you are. And we have worked like this. We did not stop. We did not stop for last 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And this is where Arjuna surrendered. I read this verse. So teach me what is Shreyas, what is right, because I'm caught in this doubt of discriminating what is right and what is not. And teach me what is Shreyas. The two things are Shreyas and Preyas. So Shreyas is what is good for you and for the world. And Preyas is what is good for you temporarily. And it can be easily understood by an analogy of diabetic patient. A sweet is so good, a gulab jamun for a diabetic patient, but that's not good for his health and longevity. So what is Shreyas? The right diet and right nutrition, right calories versus Preyas, gulab jamun. And now, a teacher under control. He smiles. You see, Arjuna is so distraught and the teacher is smiling. That smile comes when you are strong yourself, when you are composed and with the mature mind, with experience. And here are so many doctors. When the whole world was frightened, here are the people whose smile we could not see, but these are the great warriors and great teachers. So a smiling face is an index of pleasing mind. A smile takes you to an extra mile, my friend. A smiling person indeed is calming friend. A smile is an indication of control over any situation. Anywhere, anytime, for anyone, so very well. A smile makes the difference like an angel. When you greet someone with a little smile, their hearts beat with pleasure for a while. The first sign of development in a baby is smile. I'm sure there are some pediatricians in this group. The best thing in any child is an innocent smile. The lasting impression of a beautiful person is smile. The worst of the times are forgotten with a smile. The expression in any divine figurine is smile. The divine sign in all who are humane is smile. This is what we should develop when we treat our patients. The insignia of existence, knowledge and bliss, that Sat, Chit, Ananda is smile. Joy or sorrow, today or tomorrow, smile, my friend, smile. Language ain't its limit, and there is no need for any permit. It is a language spoken by any saint, prophet, or hermit. Smile is a sign language, common to all, costs nothing at all. The language universal, a smile, a smile. And the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata. No worries, worry not, worry not. Krishna begins his teaching, emphasizes his teaching in the middle, and ends his teaching as worry not. This is not worry-worthy, grief-worthy. Grieve not. Ashochyananvashochastvam pragyavadamscha bhashase gatasuna gatasumscha nanusochanti panditaha. In the 11th chapter, Mate vyadha macha vimoda bhavo, and Mashuchaha in 16th chapter. And then at the end, Sarva Dharman Paridyajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Ishyami Mashuchaha. Mashuchaha. And Sir William Osler, here is the advice he gave to the students at Yale. Live neither in the past nor in the future. That's what you're doing, Arjuna, now. But let each day absorb all your interest, energy, and enthusiasm. Worry not. The best preparation for tomorrow is to live today superbly well, without worries. And these problems, for all of us, the perturbations, the disturbances, the lows and highs, they come and go like waves of the ocean. And this is a mantra in the second chapter. Matra sparshastha kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha agamapayino anityaha tanstitikshasva bharata. Titiksha, patience, tolerance, understanding. And that's what the patience teaches. Have patience, have patience. These tribulations, perturbations, disturbances, difficulties come and go. Even this shall pass away, like that Persian king who etched this caption on his ring. This reminds me of a joke. I'm a pediatrician, and I happened to see a child who swallowed a coin. And I took the x-ray and then I sent it to the pediatric GI, one of our friends, Dr. Chatla, and he sends me this quote, even this shall pass. So remember that. And then this is another ornamental verse. You only see this when somebody sends the message of death of their family or friend or someone. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani granhati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. So the embodied inside. So our belief of Sanatana Dharma and our understanding is the soul has the body, not the body having the soul. So the soul, the one who holds this body, changes because the body changes. The holder of the body never changes. And the body's nature is to change. It's called sharira. Sharira means shiryate. The one which undergoes the change is called sharira. See? Deha. Deha means dihyate, the one which grows, and then dahyate, the one which is burnt. See the meanings? There's so much profound meaning behind that. Sharira and deha. So the embodied changes these bodies. As we would change our old clothes, give up the peel off the old clothes and wear the new ones. So underneath the inner sheath lies the Atman, Brahman. Understand this higher truth. Dissect the sheath, inspect the truth, explore each layer, expound this rich prayer. As we peel off clothes that are old to wear all new, shining like gold, so does the Atman, leaving the body that is used, takes the new to be raised. And these are important in our counseling of the families, friends, in palliative care, or when there is terminal problems, terminal disease. And we all understand that this body undergoes the changes from childhood to youth to old age. Kaumaram, Yavvanam, Jara, Tatha Dehantara Praptihi. Sanatana Dharma is built on four pillars. Okay? One is karma, the right action. Dharma, the righteousness. And Brahman, that supreme consciousness, a superpower. And Punarjanma, the rebirth. Karma, Dharma, Brahma, Punarjanma. And death. So this is so important to understand the death. We all will depart one day. Chatasya hi dhruvo mrityu, dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Then knowing this, natvam shochitum arhasi, grieve not, O Arjuna, grieve not. But for the one who is dying, you can say this, but more than this, you can say that you are not dying. It is this body. Because this Atman, the you inside this body, achedyo hyamadahyo hyamakledyo shoshya evacha. Because no weapon can destroy it. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. So it's like sunset and sunrise, the cycle of life. Life goes on without an end. Behold this truth, my friend. Here in this earthen world, all beings come to an end. For death is a brutal truth, and rest all is mere myth. Lament not. Death is dissolving in moment into the fivefold element: ether, air, fire, water, and dust. The dead are never dead. They live through us indeed. Their love for us fills our lives. We are here to fulfill their dreams. So give your best every time. Hope for the best every day and leave the rest unto him with total faith and patience. These are the teachings from the second chapter. And Arjuna, never forget your Swadharma. All of us should be reminded of our Swadharma. Swadharma is the profession we are in. That's Vritti Dharma. And the nature we are born with, and then we inculcate our Pravritti Dharma. How we can mold and modify and moderate and modulate. We'll talk about it in the 14th chapter, day 3. And we have roles as father, son, brother, friend, patient. And we all can be patients too. And more importantly, as a doctor. So this is an opportunity. Dharmyadhi yuddha shreyonyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. It is like a swarga given to us, this dais, this field to serve. And how to deal with it? How to deal with it? With samatva. Because samatvam yoga uchyate. Sukha dukhe same krutva. Labha labho jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yudhyasva. Work for the sake of work, because we are here to work. We are here to execute our duty and responsibility. And the most misunderstood verse is karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhu mate sangostva karmani. We have right. We have all the power to execute the action when we are fit. But we do not have any control over the result. That is the bitter truth, because the results of the action are dependent on 5 factors. One is our fitness. The second is our readiness, the mental readiness to do it. And third is the support, the teamwork we are in, the nursing staff, the respiratory therapists, the lab and whatnot. And hugs, our assistants, schedulers, and the instruments. So these are the 4 important ones. And the 5th factor, la quinta, is Daivam cha atra panchamam. So it is said beautifully in the 18th chapter, very profoundly. So that's why we only can act, not worry about the phala. Phala means not only the result, but the effects of it, the side effects of it, the short-term and the long-term effects of what you are embarking on an endeavor. So, and the text, there's so much. You don't have to know all 700 verses. Do not get lost. Do not get lost in the forest looking at a tree, as one of our teachers, Somaraju, used to say. So do not get lost in the forest by looking at a tree. So bring all the verses, all the chapters, all the teachings into the context, and a particular verse, like Gandhiji used to find whenever he had a problem, he used to find a verse upon opening the book that would suit and give the solution. And there are 18 verses who talk about the sthita prajna. Sthita prajna, some call it perfect personality, but it is not. It is optimal personality, because perfection can be the enemy of good. Perfection is the enemy of good. We have to deal with any situation optimally. And this is a downfall which is taught in these 18 verses. So if you are attached to something so intensely, so much upon which we don't have control, and then the deep, lusty desire, if it is fulfilled, another desire will be born. If not, the anger comes out of it. And when we are angry, we are deluded. When you are deluded, and we lose the discrimination, which leads to the total destruction. And these are great couplets, 2 verses, which describe the ladder of fall. Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bhijayate krodhat bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti vibhramaha smriti bhramshat buddhinasha buddhinashat pranashyati. And be the change you wish to see in the world, in the hospital, in the clinic, in the setting where you are at. Instead of getting frustrated with other team members not doing their job. So know when to retrieve, when to hold back, like the tortoise. Yada samharate chayam kurmongani vasarvasha indriyani indriyarthebhyaha tasya prajna pratisthita. And O Arjuna, that Krishna says, even a little bit of it, swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little bit of it will protect from greatest of the fears. What are the greatest of the fears? The 3 fears. As Swami Sarvapriyananda very recently said last week when I attended a retreat. The greatest fear is death. So death of ourselves, death of our kith and kin. And the second is the fear of our kith and kin, losing our kids, losing our parents, losing our friends out of our control. And third is our own mind. Our own mind is our own fear. So there are 2 paths, the 2 paths that are taught. So one is going to the cave and retrieving from the world. But other one is coming into the world and acting with full of action. But how can we merge these 2? That's what Bhagavad Gita teaches. This is called engagement, disengagement, attachment, detachment. But when we combine, it is a detached engagement, as Swami Bodhananda, one of my great gurus, teaches. So, detached engagement. How? Like Swami Vivekananda says, mind in the forest, hands in the society. So hands in the society with mind in the forest. We have to work. As Ratanlal Tata says, we have to work. And there will be ups and downs. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jati tishthatya karmakrit. We cannot sit idly. And there will be ups and downs. The ups and downs in life are very important to keep us going because a straight line, even in ECG, means we are not alive. So this is dedicated to my cardiology friends. How to act. And this is dedicated to my surgery friends who wear gloves every day. So act wearing gloves. As Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, that you deal with this, I think it's pineapple. Yeah, so which is very sticky, but apply oil first, anoint oil, and then deal with it. Then it doesn't. So this mentally develop this attitude and act in this world. So here is a cartoon. The disciple asking, "Oh, master, is it proper for a monk to use an email?" And the teacher says, "Sure, as long as there are no attachments." And why should we do it? We should do it for loka sangraha, for the good of the world. So there are 2 things in our lives. That is atmano mokshartham, for self-purification. And second is jagat hitayacha, for world glorification, as Swami Vivekananda says. If we don't do that, if we don't give back in some form or the other to Mother Nature, to your own people, to your own country, to your own school, to your own institution. So we are called thieves. So that should be the attitude. And these are taught, I'm taking from chapter to chapter. And how? As I said, Mayi sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa. Mentally, manasa, chetasa. Then yudhyasva, fight, act in this world. Vigata jvaraha. Jvara means, who can understand more than us? Jvara, the fever. Fever is not just the temperature. The total physical, mental, emotional, hormonal imbalance that goes on in our body and mind and intellect complex. That is called jvara. So do not have that jvara. Vigata jvaraha, act in this world. And in the 4th chapter, this is also misunderstood. The Chaturvarnyam, the 4 divisions are taught: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. But don't we need this in any institution, any society, any country? We need for our corporation board of trustees. We need the administrative CEOs. We need the workers, the team, and the labor. Otherwise, there will be too many chiefs and no Indians. Interestingly, these are all Indians, I guess, today. So thinkers are the teachers, Brahmins. Rulers, the leaders are Kshatriyas. Traders, the dealers, or the Vaishyas, and laborers are the workers. Then we have to do this as a teamwork. So teamwork is yajna. Yajna concept is nothing but teamwork. And our nature is, we are born for global interest. Unfortunately, we forgot that. Our twin brother or twin sister is yajna. Saha yajna prajasristva puro vacha prajapati anena prasavishyadhvam yeshavostvista kamadhuk. When you respect this teamwork, there will be kamadhenu. Whatever you desire, it will be produced. And the rituals we do, the yajna, it actually involves all this. It is a unique endeavor with full involvement, full effort, in cooperation with each other, coordinating with one another, and yielding the best of the results for good of the community. And after yielding the results, like a volunteer, you just offer it to the supreme power, supreme consciousness, because you have done your job. You have done your job. And the incarnation is also taught in this chapter. And whenever there is decline in unrighteousness, when there is increasing adharma, unrighteousness, that's when that supreme power comes in the form of an incarnation, a leader, a teacher, a guide, a mentor. So yada hi dharmasya glanirbhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. And in the 5th chapter, we are taught to live like a lotus leaf, born in waters, dwelling in waters, perishing in waters, yet untouched by the waters, is the beauty of the lotus leaf. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti lipyatena sapapena padma patram ivambhasa. Padma patram means lotus leaf. Born in this world, living in this world, dying in this world, must we live fully in society, yet untouched by its vanity. And the Pandit is Sanskrit name Pandita, and it has got its place in Oxford Dictionary now. When we acquire knowledge, when we go through all schools, our elementary to medical school to professional subspecialty training, we mature more and more, we acquire more and more knowledge, and we try to apply that wisdom. And when we apply that wisdom, there comes a sense of equanimity, equipoise, and this is called knowledge, real knowledge. And all these Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitramiha vidyate. All the IIT schools, you see so many of them, they have taken this slogan. And then we develop this sense of equity. Equity and equality, equanimity, equipoise. Equipoise, controlling our senses, controlling our mind, acting optimally, and caring optimally. Look at this. So if these three are given the same stool, you see who is a loser and who is the beneficiary. But if it is given optimally, and how everyone is benefited. And how do we learn? We learn with reverence, with respect, with faith, and with the passion from our teachers. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanena tattvadarshinaha. So we should have that reverence, pranipata. And we should have that inquiry, the genuine inquiry, pariprashna. And then seva is following our role models. And then these great terms you will see, sthita prajna, yogi, yukta, bhakta, trigunatita, jnani. The one who is not elated in happiness, over-elated, overjoyous. The one who is depressed during a failure. Naprahrishet priyam prapya nodvijayet prapya cha priyam. Sthira buddhihi asammodaha. He is called Brahmavitta. He is established in that Brahmana. So learn to be happy. Develop this happiness, which is our nature. Happiness is not at the end of our journey, my friend. The real happiness is there all along the journey. Happiness is the greatest heap of riches. Sages are the witness for this for ages. Contentment is the greatest treasure. Being with oneself is an utmost pleasure. The great land was not enough for Alexander the Great, but a land of 3 feet is enough for a saint to sit and meditate, for us to practice this mindfulness and meditation, and this action, inaction, inaction in action, inaction in the action, action in the inaction. So that is taught here very profoundly, very nicely, very lucidly also, masterly in activity. As we see, not doing anything is probably doing everything for a given patient and given in a given circumstance. So that is seeing karma in akarma and akarma in karma. And the teacher talks about the mind being so fragile, so futile, and so shaky, and so chanchalam, always on the move, always on the move. How to control. The mindfulness is taught in the 6th chapter. How to practice this meditation, how to develop this attitude, how to take ourselves from the yoga mat to the office seat, from yoga mat to office seat. So Krishna attests that Arjuna, no doubt, it is very difficult. Asamshayam mahabaho, mano durnigraham chalam. But it is possible with 2 things. Abhyasena ta kaunteya, vairagyena cha gruhyate. Practice, practice. Practice this detachment from attachment. Like Bruce Lee said, after a long time of practicing, our work will become natural, skillful, and steady. And that is called yoga karmasa kausalam. Yoga karmasa kausalam. And moderation is taught. Who doesn't adore this mantra of moderation? Yukta hara viharasya, yukta chestasya karmasu, yukta swapnavabodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. Moderation is a mantra of adoration. So that is what Buddha taught. And that's what we should develop. And this is all to train our mind, not to tame our mind, to train our mind, to stream our thoughts, to calm ourselves. So because mind is our own friend and mind is our own enemy. And when and how should we do it? Every moment, while seeing, while listening, while touching, while smelling, while eating, while going, not every Sunday, not every Friday, not a day that you choose on a Thursday or something, every day. Pashyan, Shunvan, Sprishan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Shwasan, Pralapan, Visrajan, Grinnan, Unmishan, Nimishan, Napi. So blinking like every moment, every moment. So God here as a friend so tells us that deal optimally with all these people you encounter, a friend, a neutral person, a mediator, the one who dislikes you, the one who hates you, the one who is related to you, the one who is a saint. And that is when we execute ourselves as a great personality, an optimal personality. So God, teacher, as a friend, teaches Arjuna these first 6 chapters. Om Tat Sat. Thank you. We'll stop the recording now, and I'll stop sharing also.